Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Isuzu UTE A-League's download, episode 3. God, it's motoring along, isn't it? So the second week of the A-League, only one side has a 100% record. Is it Auckland's to lose? That's the question. If this is how you come across the results, let's put them on the screen so you know what the scores are. Newcastle with that win at MacArthur. I didn't expect that. A draw for Adelaide when they kicked off. Melbourne victory winning the Melbourne Derby. It's going to be a long old season for Perth, isn't it? They lost 2-0 to Wellington. That win for Auckland in injury time. And a draw between Western United and Western Sydney Wanderers. I'm Max Rushden, alongside me, as always, Archie Thompson. Thomas Sørensen, how are you, chaps?
Yeah, great.
Good, yeah.
No, just
I've still got a hangover from the derby, Melbourne Derby. It wasn't great from my point of view.
No. Was it your fault?
I hope not.
Okay.
You rode 130 Ks yesterday on the bike.
Did you know that has nothing to do with that Melbourne Derby performance.
Yeah, but what about the talent of this guy? He's a painter. Yeah. He rides a bike, and he was qualifying for the World Champs.
Do you know what I used to think? Because I did a lot of work with Craig Foster. I thought he was the zenith of man.
Oh, mate, this guy.
But look at Thomas Sørensen.
Yeah, he is.
Was that on an exercise bike, or were you full lycra down Beach Road? Where were you?
It was a gravel UCI World Championship qualifier.
What?
Yeah, yesterday, yeah. So I rode 135 kilometres in dust and sweat and, trying to just stay upright because it was quite carnage.
On gravel?
On gravel, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, and how'd you get on?
Yeah, I finished 16th in my age
That's
group.
incredible.
So top 10 qualified for the World Championship. So I was, about 10 minutes out.
14th was Peter Schmeichel. Just always there.
Just Schmeichel was 13th.
Yeah, I know. It's a killer, isn't it? Let's have some feedback to this incredibly successful show, Jacko says. Regarding the hype of the A-League this season, there's a lot of hype around it, and he says, I 100% agree. The reason behind the hype is solely because of this show. Yeah. Bring on the next round. It's almost like you don't need the games, you just need this. And Tony says, finally an A-League show where they don't force the presenters to wear bomber jackets. Yes. No art. No art today. It was you last week. Archie, you failed us.
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, I got caught up in work and life that I did.
These are terrible excuses.
Manage, to find that little bit of time, 30 hours to paint something spectacular. Actually, no, I will rephrase that. I did paint something. I painted a self-portrait.
Oh, yeah.
I left it in the Amy Park storage room.
Right.
I'm sure we're going to get some footage of it, or there is a photo of it, and it's no longer there. So whoever took that painting, please phone the show, phone one of us.
I'm sure. We do have to get to the games here.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
This has gone very quickly from I didn't have time to paint anything to I painted a self-portrait in Amy Park for some reason.
Things just pop in the mind.
Feels like... Yeah. I don't know if you're being totally truthful.
No,
without honesty, we have nothing. Let's start with the Melbourne Derby, shall we? Melbourne City 1, Melbourne Victory 3. I think, Thomas, it's sometimes hard to analyse a game when there are so many goals so early, right? Sort of 3-0 after 25 minutes and the game's kind of done, barring a miracle, and you're still trying to work out, do they deserve to be ahead? Who's good, who's bad in this game?
Oh, they fully deserve to be ahead. I thought... sadly, some of the worries I had after last week, the lack of energy... wasn't there. It's a derby, and you look at the first goal, just a long ball, and Cyprian loses the header. They don't track the runner. Beige does well to try to stay with Velupale, but it's a good finish, and you're 1-0 down, and I think that just set the tone. The body language. I tried to sort of look around, heads were down, and you think you're just into the game. Yeah, you go 1-0 down. There was just something about it, and Victory, fair play, came out. They looked like a team. They were, again, they won the one-on-one battles. Even really Wittmar came out and really, said that after the game that it was a bit of a disaster. I think tactically as well. I think, they've tried to experiment in the start of the season with Nathaniel Atkinson in midfield. I don't think that's worked. I feel Tilio is better in the middle, and then Jugarkovic has played that 10. And then for this game, obviously, with Dzeko out, they put Ferreira in the back line, and I don't think that worked either. So there's some things that they need to reshuffle for sure.
Yeah, meanwhile, for Patrick Kisnorma, right, what a day that is.
Well, I mean, what
can't ask for more.
Well, look, it's funny. I mean, you can turn up to a football match, and I'm speaking on behalf of probably Melbourne City. We've been in that position before where you've been waiting all week for a big match. One pops to mind for me is Australia Day against Sydney FC. With Melbourne Victory at the Marvel Stadium. Everyone was pumped for it. We ended up losing that 5-0. And I think it was like 3-0 at half time. And you can't really set up for something like that. But what you're talking about is that it didn't seem like they had a bit of fight from the word go. And sometimes it didn't. It almost waited to the second half. We saw a little bit of that. But then when you're 3-0 up, it's for Melbourne victory, you can take the foot off the gas a little
it's
bit.
garbage time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of when the other team...
Did you pick that score, by the way?
Did I pick that
Yeah,
score?
like, when it's 3-0.
Did you say 3-0 is always 3-1?
No, I didn't pick that. I didn't pick that one. I didn't pick that one.
Yeah, but I mean...
So you were saying garbage time, which is what some people call this program. That's not fair.
Yeah, but again,
Yeah.
you're 3-0 up, you lose a gear sometimes.
Yeah.
And the other team, there was a bit of a reshuffle. I actually thought for Melbourne City, they might have found a solution. Nathaniel Atkinson went to right back. They changed around. Tilio went into the middle, and I thought it worked better. Trevin back in the back line, where he played against Newcastle. So maybe they found some solutions, but so far not an impressive start.
Well, I mean, I've got to obviously talk victory because, I mean, unbelievable result. Nishan Volupele.
He's having a good time.
A great time.
Yeah.
I mean, it scores in it for the Socceroos. Could have scored against Central Coast Mariners, but the way he took that goal, and like you said, Bajic is not a slouch in defending. He's quite strong, and the way he just pushed him off, kept that low and hard. And then a couple of selections, I was thinking that were a bit suspect. Virgos getting the go-ahead against Fornaroli. I did say pre-game that one is that, like, you score in a derby match, immediately you're a hero to the fans. And it was the two players that I was thinking, okay, maybe Daniel Zani's going to be for Piscopo, and then Virgos for Neroli, but those two combined beautifully for the goal. I thought Piscopo was fantastic. Probably allowed too much time and space with the way that.
That was again another example of how he goes past Trent, but he was great. Piscopo, Valadon in midfield, young player.
Valadon.
I think. So you've got players that are stepping up for sure.
And that's a young midfield too. And Ryan Teagues is just. I think they're just doing beautifully at the moment.
But that hustle, I know we're gonna blame Patrick Beach for the third goal, but for him to chase it down and the amount of energy he put in, so it was, in some way credit to him. Sometimes as a player you can go half-hearted. He went full in and
feels slightly goalkeepers union.
No. Again, he did well in the first game. I thought he had a couple of good actions in this one. But that goal is definitely down to him, for sure.
I was going to say, though, with Beach too, with that mistake, he was I've got to give credit to him because a young goalkeeper, first time in the A-League, he still wanted to get the ball. And with the Melbourne Victory fans, every time he got that ball, were just how he still was, confident and still playing out and trying to play. Easy for a young player when you make a mistake like that to really go inwards. So I've got to give credit to that.
Yeah. But, I thought you're right about Piscopo. The skill to get to the line, but then to stand the ball up, right? It's one thing, because you're going at such pace. It's so inviting. That cross is just saying, finish me.
Eat me.
Yeah, eat me. Right. That's the striker's mentality.
Yeah, I'm going to eat this. And it was a beautiful finish too, Virgos. And he was actually, it really suited his style of play with the way that Melbourne City set up, with a really high line, and he could actually make runs in behind and really stretch the defence. Bruno Fornaroli, probably not that type of player. So maybe there was an idea and that maybe City were going to sit up high, and that's the way PK was thinking about his selection. But it all just worked perfectly.
It's such a Sunday League thing to hear, one team wanted it more, right? And I've always presumed, when you
get... It's the basics of football, man.
You're right, but when it gets to, the elite level, and we see this in every, we see it in the Premier League, in La Liga, whatever. It seems mad to me that teams aren't equally up for it. I understand why a Sunday League team, you might be tired, you might have been out the night before. This is your job. That is bare minimum, isn't it?
Yeah, well, with City, I guess... When they went 1-0 down, you just sometimes think there's going to be a response. And with Melbourne City, they usually do that. But they just didn't. They ran out of ideas. This didn't look like anything was happening in that front third for them to get back into the match. But you could go to the La Liga with Real Madrid, Barcelona. I mean, no one really expected to see that happen. But 4-0 at the Bernabeu. It's a funny game.
Always found that these things, you can have a great week because Vidmar said, we trained great, it was great energy and everything else. But I think I've always found as a player, that first couple of actions, you have to go in with some intent, because if you just I'll just see how it goes, I'll just, work my way into the game, and then suddenly that momentum is gone.
Yeah.
You know, and it just seemed like that for Melbourne City. It sort of, they came out, they were a little bit too cautious, and then it's gone, and they were chasing after that.
And you're humans, right? I mean, that's the thing, right? Sometimes you know, 5% here, whatever. Let's go to Auckland. 1-0 victory over Sydney FC. Absolute scenes these are. It's the 97th minute. Absolutely glorious moment, wasn't it?
Oh, it was fantastic. And I love the way that Steve Corica has got this team playing. It's a simple kind of tactic, I think, when you're playing against look like Sydney FC was just drop deep, really defend well, don't let too much of the quality in Sydney FC get into any kind of rhythm, and then really punch them on the attack. And that Rogerson, oh my God, that guy is quick. He had a couple of good chances in the early parts of that first half. Gillian on the left-hand side is another great young talent that's... you could just see immediately they look to go out in these wide areas, but the way they did it, what do they call that, the supporters group? It just sets it up so perfectly for this weekend's game. And I love the cheekiness of New Zealand humour. There was a beautiful moment where I think it was Wellington had a plane fly over the top or something like that said something.
See you next week.
See you next week. And you already know this is good.
You sort of couldn't dream of when you start a new side, right? You couldn't dream of a start like this. And we're looking for heroes, right? And so Nando Peinecker, right? He doesn't score goals. I was, ever, as far as I can tell. And a back heel, okay. It was a bit scrappy, but he does take it well, right?
Like you were on our WhatsApp group saying, how many goal mouth scrambles? But there's an art to it. There's again, intuition, quick thinking, and from a defender, with a back heel, you've got to give him credit last minute. Yeah, and again, you've got to credit Corica. We were talking about last time, how he's got them organised. They play as a team. The signings they've made. Yeah, Sakai, Hall, they've secured that back line, and then all the Kiwi players, doing well. Vestrada in midfield, I think, it's been very, very good. And then Guillermo May.
Gillian, is it? Yeah.
He was lively as well. So I think, so far, and they got a bit of luck with Sydney being away, Costa not travelling, and then Lolly going off. So again, they hit them at the right time, but, you can only take what's in front of you, and they've done that.
And those fans had 2 months, didn't they? Because they had the goal, but obviously just before that they had the disallowed goal. And actually, when they were cheering, I don't understand. They were cheering after that. It was like the Bombonera. It was like amazing, just watching that going. But that was a great goal mouth scramble. At one point, it was like all the players and the ball was stuck, and everyone was just like, I don't know what to do. But it was, it was one of these. It was an offside in the build-up, right?
It was offside initially, and then it get played out, and then I always thought there was a second phase, but that doesn't exist. So they went back to the first phase and. A bit unlucky and lucky for Auckland.
The Port. That is
the Port.
The Port.
Yes.
That's who the Auckland. It was back at the back of my mind, and it came to the front of my mind. But yeah, great for them. Look, you talk about that travel, right? And I'm sort of used to that English teams. You've got to pop to Italy, but these guys had to go to Japan,
Hiroshima.
That is such. Obviously, you want to get into the Asian Champions League, right? What a great thing it is to get into. Very hard to go far in that competition. Very hard to win that competition. But the impact on what happens in your domestic league is huge, right? It's just exhausting, right? I mean, I guess they're not at the back of the plane, but still.
Also, no, they're not. But as an elderly player like Costa, that travel. I remember the last couple of years of my career, like your hamstrings, any sort of 2 or 3 hour travel. You can feel it. Everything tightens up, your body, your back, and your lower back, and everything else. And that's got to be something that they have to deal with this season.
Yeah, and I've played a lot of times with Melbourne Victory in Asia, where you've got to fly and then play a game and then fly, and then you've got to take in consideration where you're actually going and the actual climate of different places. You could be going one time hot, one time cold, and different type of football. One you could be actually defending a lot more. One you could be attacking a lot more. There's just so much that goes really into an Asian Champions League, I feel like it doesn't matter about the recovery. It's tough.
But anyway, great start for Auckland. Oh, quiz time. They're only the second team ever to win their first 2 games. As in a side that comes into the A-League and then wins their first 2 games.
Oh, okay.
Who is the other one?
Gold Coast.
Correct. 1 point, Archie. That was like rain.
I heard it
Yeah.
in one of the coverages, I think.
I see.
And it's funny how my seem to be
We were
just
talking
sitting.
about these goalmouth scrambles, the quick intervention. Like, this is absolutely top level. Like,
just went-
that's why he scored those many goals.
Information, he just said, eat it. And then he did. Let's go to MacArthur 1, Newcastle 2. Now, I was basing all of my MacArthur knowledge on their last game against Perth. So this result surprised me. Did it surprise you?
Yeah, in some way. I think, they got the good start. Like Drew, again, those two, Drew and Yakulis, getting back on the score sheet, 3 goals now. So they had the good start. But yeah, some great goalkeeping. Ryan Scott, I thought, was brilliant. Made obviously the penalty save at the end, but also the assist for the long kick. I thought Gibson was great, and one of your old victory players,
yes.
Eli. Getting 2 goals, Eli Adams, a fantastic bit of skill. As a young player, moving club for a new chance, and he's got now 2 goals in 2 games, and 2 great goals.
Yeah, incredible finishes. I thought that he took them so well, the way that he hit them. If you can remember, his actually first goal was against Perth, and I think it was a winner. And he came off the line with his left foot and bang, top corner. And I thought, wow, what a play. I was actually a bit surprised when he left Melbourne Victory and went to Newcastle. Well, obviously he's getting more game time, but I just thought that there was something really good about this kid. Like, he's quite tall, quick, very sharp with his feet, and the way that he did take those opportunities were just incredible.
I thought that link up with Gibson, I think, they're
Yes,
2 young players.
yes.
Could be very exciting. They got, it feels like they got some power and some...
Something that really frustrated me, though, was Willisol.
Right.
Willisol, I just, we talked about Uber drivers and Brazilians coming.
Yeah. You're already calling him an Uber driver?
Look,
Are you only giving him a 4-star?
well, I'm giving him 4-star because I, as a player, as a teammate, and probably as a coach, he really frustrated me in that whenever they got an opportunity to go, he's put the ball, his foot on the ball, and then when he got a little tap or he's down on the ground and he's shaking referee, and it happened a lot of times. And I think the manager from Newcastle Jets was actually getting a little bit frustrated with him and come on, just keep playing. I can understand it's probably still early on. He's still understanding, Australian football. Just cut out the whinging and just play.
Did you ever whinge?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Give
it, right?
But not like I would whinge it. I think it'd fail, but I'd get up and try and get it.
Right.
He would just sort of stay on the ground and complain. I just, as a Newcastle player, I'd be frustrated at it.
Yeah. But you're right, 2 brilliant goals from Ireland on a weekend where most of the goals I thought were brilliantly bad, because I love a goalmouth scramble. I'm a Cambridge United fan, but whoever writes this nonsense says best left foot in the A-League. Seems bold considering Juan Mata's just arrived, but he does have that Arjen Robben, Andros Townsend just cut in.
Yeah, flair. He's dynamic. The way he took the first goal, the little nutmeg, second goal as well, cut inside, quick footwork, good striking.
Yeah.
So definitely one to watch.
Yeah, so a message for the left backs of the A-League is just show him on his right. See what you've got there.
And will also look. I'm not having if I
Don't
pass you,
back your opinion.
If I pass you at the airport, it's just my opinion. That's all.
On Ryan Scott, he did brilliantly, didn't he? Extraordinary number of young men in Australia have big moustaches, don't they?
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
In the mullet.
Let's see, we've only got one here actually. Out there from the there are 3,500 people
maybe
who work
he's
on this
supporting
show.
a good cause. Yes. It is November.
That is true.
Who knows?
Yes.
Yeah. No. I did that twice, and that's enough, isn't it? November.
We did with Stoke once. The whole team.
It
looked horrific.
Do you know what? You did? And there's a nightclub in London. And I'm not a nightclubbing man.
Connected with Stoke.
Called
Surely not.
China Whites. You're aware of this, right? Footballers went there, and I did not go there because it's awfully noisy. But I was doing Movember, and I was invited by, I can't remember which footballer, but there was a photo of me and Robert Huth.
Ooh,
and I believe we are both.
Yeah, he did a good.
We look like the village people. It's really, really strong. I know, great win for you guys. We talked about MacArthur a bit, but that's a great win for them.
Oh yes, definitely. A team that starting the season, I would have thought, and it's still early on, the leadership was a big concern for me, but the way that they clawed themselves back into that game, and last year Newcastle didn't finish particularly well the back end of games. So the way that they held on to that lead it's only positive, and you'll take the wins. You could see with like I said, the Newcastle manager, how important that was for him. I'm sure they'll be very happy with that.
At the end of that game, there was a big old melee. You know, those scenes you don't like to see, but you do like to see. And it was good because it was like a rolling maul, wasn't it? It wasn't like it came together. It would and then it would spin off, and then some others would have a go, and then it would spin off again. You're like, this might never, ever end. Yeah. I hope everyone's a bit of sort of testosterone, a lot of alpha males in the same place.
Well, we were talking about that game, and it was, I think it was Tommy Uzcock, actually. He had the real, the eyes, like he won. But as he had the eyes, he was walking backwards.
Okay.
So it's one of those ones when you're like, all right, but you got, stop me. But no one's grabbing you to stop you. But
the eyes are not scary. The vein is the
yeah.
That vein,
he had
that
everything.
Pulses, you know.
The red mist.
Yeah.
Classic red mist.
Let's go to Adelaide's season debut then. 1-1 draw with Central Coast Mariners. Do you reckon, like, actually looking back on this game, like a point's not a disastrous result against the Mariners, they might be a bit frustrated because actually played pretty well in this game, I think.
I thought Adelaide, totally dominated. First half or most of the first half, and Jovanovic obviously got a brilliant goal scramble. Good on him to get the season started. But I feel that they would be disappointed not to get more out of it because of the dominance. And even Carl said afterwards, when you're on top in games, you got to make more of it. And they had a couple of more chances to finish it off, but fair play. A few changes. I think Jackson made a few tactical changes. Went to back three in the second half, and it just provided a bit more. And Gore,
yes,
from Heidelberg, making his mark and getting on the end of another scramble. Yeah. So again, fair play to Central Coast. They turned it around and took advantage.
Yeah, and like you said, it was probably a missed opportunity for Adelaide United, especially with Central Coast doing pretty much what Sydney FC had to do, go to China midweek and then try and back it up against Adelaide at Coopers, which is always hard. But Adelaide did well in that first half. The way that they really press and don't allow teams to play, Central Coast needed to make something happen. And with that change at halftime, like you said, it just seemed to have a bit more composure. And sometimes it's route one football you need. I think Central Coast tried to play out in that first half, didn't work. Then they just started to stretch, and I think that ball over to Edmondson was what opened up the game, and Sabit Newell got his first goal, and it was great.
Can I ask a stupid question?
No stupid questions.
Well,
all right, we're going to see.
I did once ask the foot golf. You know foot golf? Where you kick a football on a golf course? I did once ask the British champion if he had a caddy. When you think about it, is a stupid question. I did once ask the guy who got the world record for the most number of laps of a velodrome in an hour if he got dizzy. Also, apparently, a stupid question. It seems like quite a sensible question to me.
That's a good question.
Isn't it? The hour record. Just round and round. The hour. I don't know. God knows how many did it. My question is this. So Mariners, they won the whole thing last year, right? They've started with 2 draws. And obviously, there aren't that many games in this league, right? Does it matter if you come top or 5th? Like, I mean, okay, it makes your path to the final easier, but does it matter at all? Coming from a league where you win the league, if you come 5th, you come 5th. It's not like, okay, we have to have a grand final. Does it matter? If you're the Mariners, you've got 2 draws. It's not a terrible start. It's not a brilliant start. But actually, it's about qualifying to get into the playoffs, right?
Yeah, and we've got to remember last year, I think, when they went on and won everything, they lost the first 4 games.
Right.
So, and really, when you do look at it, you want to win it as a player and as a team. You want to, as a club, you want to win the league and win a minor premiership. But
does that medal matter?
Oh no! You want to get in the final. You want to get in the finals and play.
You come top. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it happens here.
Yeah, ultimately, it's about being that top 6. It gives you a chance of a ticket in the draw to win. But yeah,
did you find it hard to get your head around that?
Yeah,
as someone who'd always played in leagues where it's like, well, you win the league, you win the league.
Yeah, I totally get it because I follow the American sport. That's how they run it, and building up to and everyone sort of gets a second chance in some way if you make the playoffs. But I'm still sort of from the core is that I want the best team, the most deserving team to win. And again, you can be the best team. You can literally win. Is it 26, 28 games. And then you just lose one, and then you don't become... I still have a problem with that. But I love the spectacle. I think it's great to have that final with everything on the line. So...
But I feel like if you have the mentality of like, okay, let's just try and get into that 6, and then it's final series. If your mentality is going in like that, I find that teams don't win the grand final like that.
Sure.
If you are actually going there like, we want to win this, we want to win this league, and you get into the final, those teams are the ones that usually are lifting the trophy.
Momentum, though.
Yeah.
You know, you see some teams, like, they drop off right at the end or get a couple of... And then a team that hasn't really played well suddenly starts to click, and then they... You know, I think you've been part of a victory, haven't you?
There's been times where actually, no, there hasn't. I think
we always won the league.
The first trophy we did win, we lost a few games leading into the final series.
Right.
So it was concerning, but then
So you're not proving my point.
No, but I can understand though. Like definitely, that was probably a one-off. We had a good team then. So
Western United won, Western Sydney Wanderers won. What did you make of this one, Archie?
Well, West United, I love the youth in this team. Again, that's another team that I have concerns leading into this season, how far they're going to go, if they're going to make finals. Definitely the positive for me is some of these young players that they have. I think one in the back there, 17-year-old Leonard, central defender. I just thought he was excellent in that game against Western Sydney. And also two... Grimaldi on the left-hand side, another exciting young player. And the players that came on made immediate impacts. Botic was another one that was really great. Did I get Grimaldi right? Grimaldi? Yes. Okay. Am I talking about the right game?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were also mesmerised, Archie. Don't worry.
I did get it wrong. I'm just waiting for someone to stop
It's not
me.
live. The chances are someone will stop you if you're not.
Okay, good. Grimaldi is another one that's exciting, and I thought the Botic.
Everyone was just amazed you pronounced the name correctly.
Yeah,
that's why there was silence.
I think that's why I saw everyone looking at each other. So, am I got the right
He's
game?
done it.
Yeah.
Finally. Down the street. Archie Thompson's got a name right.
Yes.
Anyway.
and Botic again was another one that was good. So I thought that the way that Johnny Aloisi's got this team set up, they look like they're going to be a tough team to beat. And they're going to be a team that use a lot of their young players. And it's exciting for us because we get to see some of those young players play. And I just thought they were really, really good.
Yeah, and it was a game. It was a 50-50 game. You know, so it was good for Berto to get that first goal. I thought, you know, he showed a lot of strength and commitment, and just I think it was Imai. He sort of bullied out of the way and got the goal. And then Ibasuki good.
That stayed hit, didn't it?
Yeah, but you can also see the windy conditions. I think that's going to be one of the things. You know, it takes me back to like when we were kids. You know, it's like you know, I think the biggest concern you always had is like, are we playing with the wind in the first half, or are we playing against? You know, do we want to be 2 or 3 goals and then try to defend, or do we just like wait
There's
for
a
the
place
second half?
there's a place in West London called Donkey Lane. It had its own microclimate. And honestly, you'd look at the wind, it'd be like a 5-goal wind. And like if you were playing against the wind, you'd come off at half-time and it would feel like you climbed Everest. Like your whole face is just like...
Is it always one end?
Yeah,
always.
Okay. Because even see that goal, like the second goal, the cross, it hung up, but he couldn't quite clear it. It was sort of... And then Ibasuki was obviously there at the right place. So that's going to be something that a lot of teams obviously have to deal with. And you know, hopefully they can make it into an advantage for themselves.
Definitely.
Juan Mata started for the first time, came off after an hour, apparently created the most chances of any player in the game, like 5, which makes it sound like he totally dominated this football match, which isn't necessarily what happened. I mean, obviously I love Juan Mata, lovely footballer, but still, what did you make of his performance?
Look, he's still trying to find his feet in game time and that sharpness. He got good 60 minutes out, which was great. You could see when he does get the ball how comfortable he is on. He just seems to relax the play. I felt like that maybe Western Sydney players could have played him a lot more. He seemed to find some space where he's like, yeah, give me the ball. And immediately they'd sort of put their head down and go. I'd be looking for that guy every chance I got. And because he did find some really good positions.
So it's sort of a similar situation as Diamante the last couple of years. You know, he didn't sort of run much, but you know, they just need to find, as you said, they just need to find that where look for him all the time, like because he'll find the space And then, he's passing his vision.
Yeah.
And then they just need runs off it. So it'll take a bit of time for Gel, but you could see the quality. Like he's got that vision, and still that he's so comfortable in those even tight spaces.
Perth Glory, after that opening weekend, which wasn't the best, lost 2-0 at home to Wellington Phoenix. I mean, like I said at the top, Thomas, it feels like it's going to be a long season. Although you said, look, the Mariners lost their first 4 games. You never know. At the end of the season, Perth could win the whole thing. But it feels pretty flat at the moment.
Yeah, and David Drillage even tried to shake it up a bit. He made three changes at the back. Didn't quite come off. I thought, they were good for the first, 15 minutes. Taggart had a go. He had a header strike from distance. But then again, just wasn't good enough. You can see some of the communication is still not quite there. And for Wellington, the 2 Japanese players they've brought in, Isuzu and Hagasawa, I think. They were both involved in the 2 goals, and Wooden getting it was like 2.5 years since he scored.
So I said 2.5 years.
Yes.
Great little free kick.
One of the teenagers in the back room said it was 931 days.
That's a little bit more precise than 2.5.
That's more than 2.5.
Yeah.
Is that more than 2.5 years? When you don't score a lot of goals, it is what a beautiful feeling. I mean, I don't know why I'm asking, either of you. Did you get any?
No.
You never got one?
I was close once, but hey, let's don't talk about it.
Oh, what happened? Were you up for a corner or was it?
Yeah, against Chelsea. So I sort of charged toward the front post, and the ball was perfect, and I hung in the air, and I was like,
It's happening.
This is happening. I'm equalising last minute, and then Calaccini his hand just got just in front of me. He sort of punched it right in front of me, and I was like, I didn't know what happened. I was like, did I score? No. Hey, you know what? It's close, but never close enough.
You mentioned the communication, the defending. I thought that defending it's a great header from Tim Payne, the second goal. But the left back sort of just completely stopped.
Hamsawawi, we talked about it before. Yeah. It's sort of, I don't know if he thinks the keeper's going to come, because he's sort of like, instead of trying to clear the ball, he sort of just like he runs away.
Yeah, and it's like a sort of computer game where you just accidentally fall on the joypad. You just go the wrong way.
Yeah, and Oliver Sale, maybe he was a bit too close to his front post, so he couldn't come for the cross. But as a defender, you have to defend first of all, unless you get a shout from the keeper, and I don't think he did. So that was a bit of a miscommunication or lack of defending. But Tim Payne, he was fully committed, and great goal.
Yeah.
We talk about long ways to go. It's no longer the distance derby, this, because Auckland have turned up. So very upsetting for Wellington. It's only 5,257.67 kilometres, which is about 90 kilometres less than Perth to Auckland. But still, good win for them. Get in, do it. They got there a bit early. They got there 4 days early, as opposed to most teams getting there 2 days early, which is nice. Perth's a nice place to have a few days. But that's a great result for them, isn't it? And sets up the Kiwi Classico, which we're really looking forward to next weekend.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I'm going. So I'll be in the stadium. I'll be soaking up the atmosphere. And again, everything has gone right the start of the season for this game. They're both teams doing well. Again, that banner they flew over the Auckland Stadium, so the spice will be there, and Paulson going back to Wellington, so there's so many storylines, and, I don't think the A-League could have cooked it up any better.
Yeah, it's hard. After Auckland's performances, they're in with a real shout to really give it a good shake in Wellington. But we're seeing how good Wellington can be at home and make it very difficult, and got experienced players that have played in the A-League a long time. So I can't pick this one. I really can't. It's going to be good.
I think, again, I think Auckland could spring a surprise. I think that defensively they're solid enough. They're experienced enough, and that's always it's always great to have in a derby. But again, there's going to be so much energy. I'm sure there's going to be some bad blood. There'll be some yellow cards and a lot of drama. And again, it might just be, a little bit of quality that's going to decide. And Costa Barbarouses, he might be the man to pop up with it for Wellington.
We got on the eve of the Melbourne Cup, Western United, Melbourne City. Is that? I mean, have we created something there? That doesn't seem.
Again, I think that would be another thing to test Melbourne City to go there, roll the sleeves up. So again, that'll be definitely something for watching that one.
What else we got today? Brisbane Roar, they've only played once, haven't they? They play Sydney FC. Central Coast Mariners home to Perth. You imagine the Mariners will get their first win of the season there?
Yeah, you would think so. They've got a good rest period.
It's a crazy league, though, right?
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Well, my tippings are out the door this weekend. When I went into that this week and last weekend, I actually said to myself, this is going to be a tough one to pick, to be honest, because teams going places, are travelling, and then, uncertain about the way they're going to recover. Central Coast will be happy with the win. A draw against Adelaide with the travel. They've got a good week. They're back at home. And Perth got to travel all the way over again. A bit disappointed maybe with the 2 results. So, yeah, you'd have to think that Central Coast would get a win there, definitely.
And now the A-League women's season kicks off this weekend. It's a great initiative. You can get your Ninja A-League women's pass, which gets you into the first 4 rounds for free. For your kids, adults, I believe you have to pay. Because you can't have everything for nothing in this life, all right? But your kids go for free, which is great. And the Unite round is coming up on the 22nd to the 24th of November in Sydney, New South Wales. So tell me what that is. I've agreed to do a corporate there, so I'd like to know what I'm signing up for.
Okay, well, last year, it's all teams playing in the one city.
Right.
But it's just beautiful having all the teams playing at sort of the same venues, getting everyone in to enjoy.
Is it double headers as well?
Double headers, yeah.
Perfect.
And, it's just celebrating football and maybe if you're new to the game or want to see a game of football, you're going to see a lot of it. So just go and watch. It's great. It really is.
All right.
How do I promote that?
I think you did a really good job.
Okay, perfect.
Everyone look down. What is it? Which one's Archie? Is he there?
Yes.
This one here. Just look down there. Go November 22nd, 24th. Unite.
November 22nd, 24th.
Come on, with a bit of feeling.
We all unite.
That's
Unite round. Come on.
Yeah. Really good. All right, well, that feels like we've done for today. Thanks so much for your company. Thank you, Thomas.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Archie.
Thanks, Max.
Well, I hope you find your painting. That was
Yes,
going to be a
hopefully,
really
they
good
phone in.
feature that was going to run and run. It was going to grow. Viewers were going to send in paintings. We had all this.
Yeah, well, when we find this
And
painting,
let us down.
You wait till you see it. It's
Did
incredible.
someone else paint a picture of you?
Okay, I paid for it.
You paid for it?
I paid for this painting.
What, this week?
It was at an event, and no one was bidding. I was bidding against myself, and I paid $1,200 for it.
Oh, no. So there was an auction.
So who made it then?
Like this artist, I can't remember his name, but he would just do it in 5 minutes, and yeah, very, very.
Right. So
very good.
hang on. Somebody painted a picture of you
Yes.
at
5
a
minutes.
charity auction.
Yes.
And in front of hundreds of people.
Yes.
Nobody wanted to buy it.
No.
And you were just
I
like,
was bidding against myself. For that.
It was like left arm.
Yeah.
But look, if we find it, we will auction it off.
Please hand it back.
Cheers, chaps. We'll
Cheers,
see you
mate.
next week. Take care. Bye-bye.